Have you ever noticed that your C5 has some wheel hop or drivetrain shake and the sound of uneven tire screeching coming from the rear of the car when you really get on it from a dead stop? If you have, then most likely a big part of your problem is this big, giant, squishy mount that not only supports the rear differential, it also keeps the differential and the transmission attached to the chassis, and that's a big job. When I said squishy, I also meant stretchy, and here's a better visual as to what I'm talking about. Here's the compression, and you can see how much that thing moves. And I don't even have to work this that hard. That's quite a bit. And like I said, since your mount is probably original, that means it's 20 plus years old, which means all of this rubber is probably even softer because rubber breaks down with age and all of the compression and stretching that's had to endure during that time. Well, I tackled this problem on my own C5 about 5.5 years ago by installing this aftermarket differential mount from HPI, and I haven't looked back. So in this video, we'll talk more about what drivetrain shake and wheel hop is. We'll talk about how to greatly reduce it by going through the installation process of an HPI Diff mount in my C5 Corvette, and then we'll review how well the HPI Diff mount is held up to 5.5 years of abuse in my supercharged C5, which most of you know puts out about 585 horsepower to the rear tires. Guys, if there is one thing I could change about the C5 Corvette, it would be its tendency to want a wheel hop. Wheel hop also happens to be the #1 reason for differential destruction. Well, stay tuned because we're going to dig deep into this subject and see if we can come up with some real-world solutions.
Toys for life.
Unfortunately, the wheel hop issue is nothing new to C5 owners. In case you're trying to tackle this issue yourself, I'm going to start out with a couple of the more obvious things that you're going to want to take care of before trying to eliminate this pesky wheel hop villain. First off, if you're running 6-year-old run flat tires, they're not going to get any traction ever. So you're going to have to ditch those for a good set of ultra high performance summer tires. Secondly, if you've got a manual transmission and your idea of a launch is revving it to 5,000 RPM and just dropping the clutch, that's never a good idea for getting good traction. The third thing that I tried was to upgrade my C5's relatively soft existing shocks, and I went with C6 Z06 shocks. The reason I chose to do that at this point in time was it was an upgrade I was going to do anyway, and by doing it now, if it didn't work, I could at least eliminate it from one of the variables that could potentially be leading to the wheel hop issue. While I'm happy to say that the C6 Z06 shocks really did a nice job firming up the ride, they really didn't help the wheel hop issue in any material way. Next, while watching all kinds of C5 videos on YouTube, I noticed there's a lot of them that have some sort of a hop issue upon takeoff. Here's some recent footage of one launching, and you can easily see by watching the exhaust pipes, there's a lot of shake going on there. Let me slow it down to slow motion, and you can see it even better. It appears this problem even happened when they were new. Here's a little video from Motor Week of a C5, and you can hear the wheel hop taking place if you listen closely.
And no substitute for its awesome low-end grunt.
Next, I've got a video from Motor Trend. This is a C6 Z06, and if you listen closely on this one, you can absolutely hear the driveline shake / wheel hop.
Before the engine reaches fourth.
The next thing I decided to do is to install a camera aiming right at the rear diff to see what was going on when I launched the car, even just lightly. And I was amazed at what I saw. Here's a shot of when I did a slight launch in the driveway. Now this is hardly even launching. Look at how that stock mount shakes. So based upon the visual evidence that I just presented, we clearly have to do something about the C5's excessive drivetrain movement. As you may know, the C5's drivetrain is supported in 3 locations. There's 2 up front, 1 under each side of the block, and there's one in the back, as we already saw, that supports the transaxle. Now, I drive this C5 a lot, so I want to do everything I can to minimize the amount of drivetrain movement, while at the same time I really don't want to introduce any unnecessary vibration from the drivetrain into the chassis. So what I've decided to do is start with replacing the transaxle mount. So we'll see how far that takes us down the road towards minimizing drivetrain shake / wheel hop while minimizing vibration. The mount offered by HighPerformanceInjectors.com stood out to me as being a well-engineered piece at a very fair price. So I called the folks up at HPI Injectors. I told them a little bit about Toys for Life C5, and here we are. We've got the main beam, which is 6061 T6 aluminum. It's anodized for a long life. We've got poly bumps on each side. That'll help take care of the load under hard acceleration. And then the other part has got a poly mount as well. So in a minute, when we get the old mount out, we'll compare the rigidity of the new bushing versus the old one. The first step in installing the HPI mount is to get the C5 up in the air. This can easily be accomplished with the jack and jack stands, but I'm going to go ahead and use the max jacks. All right, the first order of business, this is what we got to remove. First thing we're going to do is remove these two 18mm nuts on the bottom. Next, we're going to use a jack, and we're going to lift up on the transaxle a little bit, just to lift it up around 1/8 of an inch or so. That gives us just enough room to sneak in a socket wrench to remove the bolt holding the mount to the transaxle on the passenger side. Now we'll do the exact same thing on the driver's side. Next, we're going to jack up the transaxle until it just touches the SMC tub. Finally, we can remove the mount by tilting it towards the rear of the car and lifting it out. Next, we're going to remove the dampener, so we'll just take it off from the side. I've got an extension on there with a 13mm, and there's 2 screws. And if you wiggle it, it should come out by moving it forward and drop it down between the leaf spring and the cradle. Now we've got the HPI mounted in the vise, and other than a little bit of movement between the vise and the workbench, there's no movement in the bushing. Now we've got the stock transaxle mount in the vise, and as you can see, with very little effort, it's all over the place. I was having some difficulty getting the beam to bolt up to the transaxle, so I opened up the holes with a 13/32 drill bit, and the issue was solved. It is a snug fit, but with a little patience and perseverance, you can get it into position and bolted to the transaxle. Carefully lower the transaxle down just enough to install the main bolt, and then go ahead and torque it to spec. And finally, reattach the nuts, attaching the mount to the cradle. Okay, one more quick peek before we drop the car down. Make sure everything is secured, zip ties. Make sure your brake lines are routed properly. Nothing's going to rub on anything and cause a problem. When you're satisfied everything is secure, you're done. Guys, I've got about 20 miles on this now under all kinds of driving conditions, and my first impressions really are this. Number one, the drivetrain feels much more connected to the chassis, so that's a huge thing for performance. Number two, the wheel hop situation. Although it's not 100% cured, it is substantially better, and I'm confident that what remains has nothing to do with the diff mount and more to do with control arms and motor mounts. And since I've mentioned that I'm extremely sensitive to vibration and noise and things like that, I would say the vibration is marginally noticeable. Very minimal, much less than I expected. So I would recommend this product, absolutely. Let's check on the current condition after 5 to 6 years of use of the HPI Diff mount, and to do that we'll throw the C5 up on the lift. Will the diff mount be disintegrating? Will it be broken? Will it show signs of deterioration? What is it going to look like? Let's find out. And gee, looks exactly like it did when I put it in 5 years ago. Let's check using a pretty long little persuader how rigid it is. And it's not budging. I'm putting quite a bit of pressure on it, and there's no movement at all. So in conclusion, am I happy with the HPI Diff mount 5 years after installation? Absolutely I am. As you just saw, it has proven to be very durable, showing virtually no signs of wear and tear. In addition to that, it has greatly reduced any signs of wheel hop / drivetrain shake, and in most situations, it has completely eliminated it. If I wanted to tighten up the rear end of the suspension anymore, I'd probably replace all of the 8 A-arm rubber bushings with something more durable, but so far I haven't found the need to do that. How about additional harshness and vibrations being felt in the cabin of the C5? As I said at the time of the original video, there are some marginally noticeable vibrations that you can feel at times. 5 years later is a long enough time for additional harshness and vibrations to become annoying if they're going to. And I'm happy to say, just like I said in the original video, there are some additional marginal vibrations if you're paying attention at times. I would also add that if your C5 has headers or a louder than stock axle back exhaust, it's quite possible you wouldn't notice any additional vibrations. Unfortunately, in my opinion, the HPI mount is not perfect. There is one change I'd like to see them make, and I hope they do, and that is to open up the recess here in the bottom of the mount that the bolt slides into. It could use a little more clearance so that when you insert the supplied bolt, you can easily get your average 16mm socket into the recess and onto the head of the bolt. When I install this mount in people's cars, I generally either open up this recess a little bit with a die grinder, just enough to allow me to get the socket to fit into the recess to tighten the bolt. Or alternatively, I've also replaced the bolt that comes with the kit with one that's about a 1/2 inch longer from my local hardware store, and then added a washer and then just installed it this way so you can get a wrench on the bolt, and that seems to work just fine as well. So why not just purchase another manufacturer's differential mount? And that's a fair question, and my answer is because everything else about the HPI Diff mount works perfectly. And if you look at the other mounts available, most of them cost at least twice as much, with some of them costing 3 times as much. If you're interested in an HPI Diff mount for your C5, I'll even leave a discount code in the description below for 20% off, making it an even better deal. If you're local to me here in the Twin Cities of Minnesota, I've got this one in stock, ready to be installed in your C5. And if that interests you, go ahead and shoot me an email, and perhaps we can work something out. If you enjoyed today's video, please do me a favor, tap that thumbs up below so YouTube knows to share this content with other Corvette enthusiasts. Subscribe so you don't miss the next video, and most of all, thanks for watching.